Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so I'll just do a quick introduction of all of us. And I think given that we were having a little bit of a chat, you guys kind of know us already. So I'm Charlene. I'm one of the three of us this morning. I'm a marketer and also a migration advisory business owner based in Melbourne. Veronica is our marketing and sell without selling guru. And Thompson is our client and end user and in my opinion, overall go-getter as well. They are both based in NSW, Port Macquarie, and Sydney, respectively. Okay, so if we go on to the next slide. So the thing about modern marketing and having killer content is a topic that has, for me, hit home, especially in the last week, given Victoria's extended restricted environment. And it hits home for me because then it becomes even more clear to me that it's critical to be on all channels online because that's where we all are. In video format, in blogs, short animation, written posts, what have you, and everything in between. And that is what makes creating killer content difficult. Messaging it appropriately becomes very tough, right? Because what I tell you in a seminar or how I tell you something in a video is very different from how I can tell it to you in an article. So if you've been having trouble getting the messaging right for your customers and your business, I'm happy to share with you that you are not alone. Okay, with the conversions of the platforms online and all of its diversity and all of the different people online, writing suitable and effective content has become even more challenging as it has also become critical. Right, so I'm happy that we have this session. I find it that it's really timely at this point, and Vera and Thompson will be able to tell you more about it through their own lens as we move forward. Now, the takeaways from this slide that you see here is really this: get online now if you're not already there, and start to captivate your people with a variety of content. Make sure that they are search friendly, and then go from there. So if you have to start somewhere first, I'll say start with your website, a simple website. If you already have that, make it search friendly. And if you don't already have it, start one now. Okay, so I'll leave you with that as a backdrop for the rest of the morning as Veronica takes you on rocking your content, and then Thompson will share with you from his perspective as an end user and a client, the impacts, the best positive impacts and how to go from there.
Okay, so let me introduce myself first. I'm Veronica, and some people may call me a nerd because of my technology background. I started my career with technology, and also because I've been fiercely adopting technology to help me and my clients to target the most profitable customers, and then of course sell without selling. I got very tired of being in the back end of technology and went on to do sales and then business development and then marketing. So I have been in marketing for more than 20 years. And the last marketing job I had was with IBM before I started Vermilion Pinstripes. And then during the years of business development, sales and marketing, I developed this modern marketing framework, which takes into consideration the art and the science of marketing and sales. And now this modern marketing framework has been trademarked. And it's designed to grow small and large businesses. Now, Vermilion Pinstripes is also a HubSpot customer partner. And HubSpot is a software tool, CRM tool for marketing and sales automation as well. And then we are also a Bookio partner. Bookio is a software that allows customers to book, let's say, their gym classes or Pilates classes online, or tours online as well. And latest is we are a Wix partner, so Wix helps you to build websites. And of course, we build apps as well. Now, so let me introduce Thompson first. Thompson, where are you? Do you want to kind of give a quick spiel of yourself before we start?
Yeah, sure. A very good morning, everyone, and good evening, of course, to Marion. I know that you're in Canada. So my name is Thompson Ching. I'm a consultant myself in the education space. So I work for a corporate advisory consulting firm. We provide strategic advices to universities, colleges, and also government on Australia's education engagement with Southeast Asia. Before that, I was actually on a number of roles before I joined the consultancy firm. I was actually working for the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia as a senior advisor to the minister. I also worked for one of the member of Legislative Assembly in Penang in Malaysia, and then now I'm based in Sydney. So that's a little bit about myself, and I think I'll stop there.
Right. Thank you. Okay, I'll just start with what Charlene mentioned just now, and she talks about having an online presence. I was wondering if you can put onto the chat whether you think online presence is important and why, and then we can go from there. Just type into your chat, and then Charlene can look at all your comments. Now, during the COVID pandemic, I was speaking to a lot of businesses, right? Some went on to close their brick and mortar shops and focus solely on online business. Some strengthened their online business to complement their traditional business, but some just didn't do anything. They didn't take the plunge and they cannot decide what to do. And I feel that is the most dangerous situation if you do not decide. You have to do something, right? Whether COVID or not, decisions are always important. The world cannot stand still just for you. But whatever it is, during the COVID, many people realize being online is really important. So if you're not out there talking about your business, then you will be forgotten eventually, okay? I mean, even without COVID, if you don't talk about yourself, you'll be forgotten. It's no point having the best product, but no one knows about it. But now people are locked down and you can't talk about yourself face to face. Your online presence becomes really important. So you have to continue talking about yourself, right? So this triggered me to write a recent article called Out of Sight, Out of Mind. And while writing this and talking to customers, I realized it's so important that I thought this webinar would be important to help customers create their awareness and actions to their online business, right? So any comments from Charlene or Thompson about that? Or for anyone?
Yeah. I think online presence is absolutely important because it represents a lot of things, but more importantly, it represents the brand image of the organization. And as some of you have commented in the chat room about the importance of online space, I just wanted to expand a little bit more from there, which is the fact that people are working from home and people may not be meeting you, for example, in your office space, your website, for instance, will become the image of your brand and your business. And which is why, it is important, like what Charlene mentioned in the beginning, the importance of having a website as an online presence.
Okay, Charlene, any comments?
No, it's pretty much Thompson's pretty much captured the feedback on the chat group, and the good thing is it's true. Everyone's of the same opinion that an online presence is important, and as Nina had also pointed out, I mean, in comparison to a lot of other things, it is also a relatively inexpensive way of reaching out to more people. Also because there's just so much options in terms of the various platforms that fit everyone's needs. One of the things that I was talking about recently is that every so often I'll get questions about whether we should use Wix, Squarespace, or WordPress. And my answer generally to this question is that it really depends on your business. But from the conversations that I've been having with a lot of business owners, Wix is actually a really good platform to start off with because it scales, which means that when you're first starting out, it's an affordable way to get yourself online. And then when you are growing, it will grow with you. More people, however, know about WordPress. And so therefore, I feel like it's a more popular brand, and therefore people end up going with WordPress. But it is the power of WordPress is in it being customizable in so many ways. I feel that a lot of people don't actually use those powerful features, nor do they really need it. So yeah, definitely as we talk about platforms, it would be great for everyone to just expand a little bit in terms of the platforms that are available, and then have a chat with us on what you think.
Yeah, the reason why I signed up as a Wix partner was because, I've been helping customers set up websites for quite a few years now, and Wix has evolved quite a lot. They have the classic Wix, which most small businesses are familiar with, the drag and drop features and all that stuff. So it's easy for businesses to maintain their website. But now they have introduced not COVID, but COVID, and also Editor X, which allows you to have a little bit more programming. And the SEO functions, the security functions have now surpassed WordPress. So that's why I'm pretty excited about Wix. The integration with Ascend, which is all this sales and marketing automation, the CRM, is all built in, and some of the features are free. So that means the businesses can actually work out of Wix for their website, for their sales, for quotations, for invoices, for social media, for building videos, entire engine all on Wix alone. So later on, I'll be showing some websites and they're all built on Wix and you won't even know that they were built on Wix. I'll continue. Now, we know for a fact that the online channel, we talk about websites, right? But when we talk about online channels, a lot of people will also think about social media and stuff. So, and I'm sure a lot of you are on social media. But what do you think your real estate is? Any comments?
Not at the moment.
Hmm?
Not at the moment, not on the chat box.
Okay, so I would think your online real estate is your website. If anyone would be thinking about Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, then I would say they don't belong to you. They belong to Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey or Larry Page or one of these rich folks, right? The real estate that belongs to you is your website. So it's so important that you own your website, you build all your valuable content onto it, and you grow it, right? So everything you do on your social channel have to be driven back to your real estate. Your real estate can be your brick and mortar shop, but your virtual real estate will be your website. So make sure that it is robust enough and think about it, right? Make sure that it's enough content for you to engage, for you to nurture relationships, and for them to buy or act with you, okay? So all your offers and everything should be on there, and then all your call to actions and everything like that. Your website is the only place where you can woo them, and not because the customers want to, not because you want to sell to the customers, but because they want to buy from you, right? But that means what is important, and I think Charlene mentioned that, your brand message. When you get onto your website, your brand message is so important, because if you come onto the website and you don't know what this guy is trying to sell, they may be selling, I don't know, a lawnmower, but what is that purpose, right? It's more than money. What's your brand purpose? What is the emotional and tangible outcomes? Can they feel that on your website? Because otherwise it will be like another competition, right? And there's no differentiation. So this is our modern marketing framework, which I have trademarked. And in that purple circle, you can see, you know, how we evolve around what we call the customer's buying journey, attracting them and then converting them, closing the sales and delighting them. So today I'll talk mainly about that particular framework, what I call the sales journey, okay? So the first thing you do is to attract customers, right? And you attract them to your website. And there's two ways of attracting them: organic traffic and then paid traffic, right? Now, how do you attract customers? The first thing is what we call keywords. People would type in things. And the thing is, when they come to you, they don't know that you exist, but they know they have a problem. So the keywords that you type in has to be smart enough to know that, you know, you provide them. So let me just go to some websites and, okay, one example here. The Mooncake Festival is coming up, okay? And I want to know how to make blue mooncake. So I Google this, right? And it comes up with a lot of things. Now, this is my customer, and she has an article called Blue Snow Skin Mooncakes. You want to be on page 1, right? And if you're not on page 1, then you may have to pay for ads. But before you pay for ads, you want to make sure that all your organic traffic is robust enough to be on page 1. Okay. So here, I can click on there. If I make blue skin, there are texts like this: how to make blue skin mooncakes. So when somebody Google how to make blue mooncakes, her article will pop up. Okay, these are some of the things you do. So there are text and smart SEO. So it can be, the smart text can be in your blogs, can be in your ebooks, can be on your social media, or video and whatever. And then you have pictures. Now, the pictures itself must have what I call alt text. Otherwise, the Google will not be smart enough to say, okay, this is image1234.jpg. The image should say maybe how to make blue mooncakes, for example. Okay, then Google will find you. And then you have what they call a little description here, right? And if you can click on it on your blog as well, you have little call to action, buy this now or whatever. And then you can click on it and go to other parts of the website, okay? So another example is I may be new in town. I came to Port Macquarie as a small business owner. And what I would Google, is there a small business network in Port Macquarie? Now, I don't know about your product or I don't know about your business, but I know I have a pain point and I know I want to join a business network, okay? So if I key in this, what would come up? This is also another website that I do called Micro Business Forum. They're based in Port Macquarie, and you can see they're the first one there, right? So even the chambers and council and all that are after it. So this is how you can make sure that your SEO and your text and everything is robust enough and you don't have to invest in ads to be on page 1. And what you're trying to do is to be on what they call featured snippets. Featured snippets are things that Google kind of highlight in the box here to say that this is the main feature for this query, okay? And this is what you're trying to achieve, all right? Another example, Learn to Fly in Port Macquarie. The first one that comes up, Hastings District Flying Club. And that's another website that I do, another client of mine. So HDFC, the first one. So that's what you're trying to aim for. Be the first one on page one. Even if it's not the first one, it still be on page one, because I can tell you nobody will go beyond page one, okay? The other thing is sometimes you don't know what text to put in, right? When you see Google, you say here, people also ask, can you fly to Port Macquarie? How much does it cost to learn to fly? So these are helping text for you to say, maybe I should use this text in my blog, in my website, in my ebooks or whatever. Now this is the attraction stage, remember, okay? And then when you go to the bottom, related searches. So Port Macquarie Flying Club or whatever, okay? So these are kind of hints. Why don't you use some of these texts within your blog or content? Another tool that I use, which is a free tool, is called Answer the Public, okay? This is a really cool tool. So make sure you, maybe Charlene, you can put it on the chat, answerthepublic.com, right? So what you can do here is you type your product. So let's say, for example, I sell a lawnmower, okay? And I search. What it does is it gives me a heap of text that I can use. It tells me the kind of searches that people use when they buy lawnmower. Like, for example, lawnmower blades universal. Can lawnmower get wet? Maybe some of these are good blog ideas, right? How lawnmower starter works, you know, and then you go from there, right? So these lots of topics for you, okay? Okay, let me go back to my slide. I want to show you something else here, which talks a little bit about SEO. You see this title tag here? When I show my screen, I can't move my mouse for some reason. Now you see title tag. Title tag is important because that's what the customers read, the very first line, right? So you have to tell them what to expect. Here we are doing a branding exercise. So we say Vermilion Pinstripe is serious about business sustainability. Then it comes up within your search. Now the slug is the URL. So make sure your URL makes sense, right? If your topic is about business sustainability, then use those words, business sustainability. Don't come up with, you know, clean your fish tank or something, you know, something that is out of context. And then you have meta description, which is about 150 characters. What do you want to say within the 150 characters, right? Another example, 6 marketing metrics. Numbers are usually good because, you know, like for example, you want to lose weight, you put there, lose weight in 7 days, or how to lose weight in 7 days. And the action, what do you expect? Download cheat sheet, okay? So these are things that you can put in so that it becomes clear, the action is clear, what the customers expect from this particular page, all right? Any questions? No? Okay. Now, there are paid products that you can use to help you determine what kind of keywords you should use in your text and all that stuff. So for example, SEMrush, right? But I showed you the free tools, okay? Now, the next step you want to do, once they get onto your website, you want them to stay within your website. You want to engage them further, okay? So how do you engage them? You provide offers, right? Like for example, on the right-hand side, you can see what I call a pop-up box. And this pop-up box say, you know, get a free print for COVID and all that stuff. And then they can download it. And then for another client of mine, my blue tea, she sells her blue flowers, and people don't know how to use it. So she used recipes and kind of, teach them how to use those blue flowers. So get recipes. So you use forms, right? And it provides a clear opt-in as well. So they subscribe, right? And you use those forms to subscribe. And then they can download it. Then what happens after they download it? You send an automated email to them. And this email will say, thank you for downloading, blah, blah, blah. Then what is the next thing? Maybe you're interested in this as well. And then you give them more and more and more. That's how you engage them further. Now you have all this text and blogs and whatever in there. You can share that on social media to drive it back to the website. You can, send out an email and say this blueprint is available, this recipes is available, and so on, right? And then you can say, oh, maybe you could even forward to a friend, share it with a friend. Keep engaging them, keep encouraging more people to give their emails to you, right? You want them to leave their contact details with you. So that's why you're giving something valuable in exchange for that email address. But what does that mean? That means they trust you to give you their emails, right? Their contact details. So in order to build that trust, you need what we call a privacy policy on your website as well. So does everyone have a privacy policy? If not, then you can go to our website. There is a blog under marketing, and it says how to build your privacy policy, and it will send you a sample of the privacy policy, and then you can use it. But of course, you can always pass it off with your lawyers as well. So some of the call to actions will be forms, which is like what you see on the screen. And you could download an ebook, you could download recipes, you could look at a blog, you can attend a webinars like what we did today. You can provide a free consult or get a free quotation. And then on the right hand side, you see that little robot there. We call her Mindy. So that's also another way to engage on your website. And you can ask her anything and hopefully she replies, right? Okay, any comments from here? Does everyone have some kind of offer to give to the client so that you can attract them to your website? Maybe you could put it into, huh?
I just want to jump in here, Veronica.
Sure.
I just wanted to point out the fact that customer behaviors, people like free stuff. And if you can't do free, try to look into discounted stuff, which might not necessarily be at the expense of your business profits, is something that you can offer. So I think to do that, it's important to brainstorm with the team and to come up with creative ideas in terms of what you can offer as a incentive to keep engaged. So I think this is something that to do with the products and services. So for instance, for the work that I do, we offer consulting services. And that's one thing that is similar to what Vermilion Pinstripes have, which is to offer a free 30 minutes consultation for people. So that could be, one of the incentives to be included to keep people engaged. And who knows, from there, you will turn up to be a business opportunity from 5 or 10 of the free consultations that you offer to people.
Yeah. So free consult is one thing that we do. We have free resources and tools and all that we provide. There are a few things why we do this, not only to get email addresses, right? But it is a way of branding ourselves. So you want to be seen as a guru in the subject matter. And when people look at the work that we do, then they understand, yes, this is a credible company who knows what they're talking about. It's not, somebody who just set up another company, right? So it's a whole branding exercise for us as well. Now there are, if you look at Facebook ads, there are lots of people who say, oh, download this, for $7 and whatever, and then they hook you in for more. But we are not in that business, so either we give it free or we charge for it.
The good
example
from a physical point of view is similar to, I would say, for example, if you go to shopping mall and if you go to the cosmetic section and people give you free trial of perfume or some of the cosmetic items. The other thing was if you go to grocery stores and some of them might have some free drinks for you to kind of try and taste it, and if you like it then you can purchase it. So it's similar concept. It's just we're applying this on a virtual space, online space.
So is anyone else doing this right now, providing something for free or whatever?
So Charmaine shared that she has been having challenges offering something unique for Pilates, and she has researched this, and she finds that many people have offered a 5-day free Pilates class, but she's stuck with some ideas. So I've suggested a short downloadable 15-minute Pilates or 30-minute Pilates at home workout session to start off with and see how that goes as responses go. Because I think with something like that, it gives your market an opportunity to engage with you and experience you on a personal basis.
Okay, maybe I'll share one of my client, my body, my Pilates. And he's based in Tokyo. When Japan got locked down, we very quickly moved her classes to online. And because online was something new to her and new to her clients, we gave an offer and we ran a contest, right? So get a free pass for, X number of people. And people would respond, and then they can share that post, and so that kind of contest. And then we say, okay, for 30 days, this is a free, this is a trial period. We're giving it for half price. So people take up that session, and then from there, she gained the following. And then after 30 days, it was back to the normal price. Now, we put in lots of SEO into that content, and she got found by a huge financial institution. And she signed a contract with them to do Pilates classes for the entire financial institution on a weekly basis for all the employees, which is really, really good. So now we are doing another promotion, which will be launched shortly, which is a 30-day challenge. And this 30-day challenge will show different Pilates on a daily basis so that it becomes a habit of adopting Pilates every day. And then they can share it with their friends. And then if they want more, they can sign up. Okay. So this is where she will provide her expertise in that 30-day challenge, and people will know what she does as well. So the 30-day challenge, just video snippets, and it need not be long. Like you said, it can be 5 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, but it's just to get people moving. So there are lots of ideas there. And then on her social media, you can see, you can do this at home, 5 minutes a day kind of thing as well, okay? Any other people doing anything similar? No? Okay, the next thing I would really want you guys to do is make sure you have a Google My Business. Who doesn't have Google My Business? If not, set it up, okay? Go and claim your business and set it up. Let me show you on the screen how Google My Business will look like. Okay, this is one of my clients, right, which I talked about, My Body, My Pilates, based in Tokyo. She claimed she has Google My Business. And once you have Google My Business and somebody Googles you, you look at on the left-hand side, your profile, all here, right? Now, this takes time. It doesn't come up automatically. It takes time. Once your credibility of your website is recognized by Google, more and more of your content will come up. But you can see 220 million results on this. which is a lot. And this is like a target for me, right? When I do client stuff, if they started with 100 results, then I want to go more next month and more, you know. So, and then we can see how many views of her website every month as well, okay? And then on the right-hand side, you see website directions, call. And this is the important part. So what I do for them is a click to call. If they have a mobile phone, you know, they don't have to say, oh, this is the mobile number, let me punch in and have to switch screens and how to punch in, and she has so many numbers, right? So it's a click to call. You just click the button and it will call you. I can ask for directions and so on. Now, she is providing a service, but I productize all her services. So you can see all the services in there, whether online or in the studio. You can click on it and then it goes to her booking system. And this is what you want to set up in your Google My Business, okay? And then of course, reviews. And I treat Google My Business as a social media platform. So all the social posts on Google comes here as well. Events come here as well, because if people Google, you know, what's up in Tokyo or something, and her events will come up, okay? So you can do that. And these are the posts that I do, all right? And then Google My Business will also show your social profiles, your reviews, right? Reviews are important. So on her website, I will actually, let me go to her website. This is her website in Japanese. So if you look at here, right, we have love us, review us on Google. Always encourage your customers to, you know, Google, put a review for you, okay? So this is where all the reviews will come in, and she collects the reviews from here. The more reviews you have, the better, okay? You can see all her photos. People search by photos a lot, search by videos a lot, and that's where she comes up, okay? The other thing is, just now I mentioned alt text, right? Alt text are text that sits behind an image or a video. Why is alt text important? A lot of people are searching by voice. So if you do not have text behind your images, then you cannot find, you know, your company. Let me show you Facebook and alt text on Facebook. Noel, since you're here, I'll show you Samsung. Okay, now alt text works on only images or videos. So this is an image of Noah. Oops. You click on here, and then you see change alt text here. Now, the machine is not so smart on knowing this is Noah. So what does it say? One person, tree, outdoor, and Dell, because he has a Dell computer there. He recognizes Dell. So what do you want to type here? Okay, Noel from Samsung is giving a, let's say interviewing Ralph for Rooster Talk. Something like that, something more intelligent. Now, why is this important? Because voice search, you know, Siri, ask Siri something. Siri will be smart enough to bring this up. And also for blind people who works on the website or view the website or social media, and you can engage them as well. Now, the other thing on social media, you see this little right-hand side, this little tag product thing. If you are selling online or you have productized your services online, then you can tag your products. I'll show you another example how I had tagged products. This is one of my clients. You see, when she has tagged her product, it says here, click to view products, right? This allows every post, and you say, okay, you know, these are the products to make this blue tea. And what happens? You can just click on it and it says check out our website. So you want the whole customer experience to be as seamless as possible. And people don't have to, oh, this is nice, but where do I buy it from? Let me Google her shop, you know, and then they have to get out of this post just to Google her. And when you Google her, there might be another 10 more competition that comes up, okay? So you're still engaged on that post and it says check out. And it will go directly to the shop. And she can add it to cart and buy. That's it. That is how seamless you want the engagement to be. So you have to think about how you want that customer journey to be, all right, before you do all that. Any questions? No?
Nope.
It might be quite a lot to absorb, but
It is.
I think it's good. Now,
Yeah.
what other freebies can you have?
I just wanted to
Yeah.
jump in there, and I should clarify that I think Google My Business shouldn't be a substitute for the website, if I'm getting this correct, right?
It depends on the business. I have a few clients who are franchises. Now, as a franchise, you're not allowed to build your own website. So what they do is they build a Google site. I'll give you an example. Where's my Google My Business? Okay, so this is one of my clients. And because the head office does not allow them to build their own website, then I actually built a kind of a one-pager for them. And you know, it shows what they can do. They have their social posts there, call to actions, a description of their company and the services they provide, and all their social media profiles. So this is good for them because you can see that, you know, thousands of people come out here. And then you can look at the insights as well. So Google My Business is pretty powerful. In 1 month, how many people search for them? What are the queries, right? So CT scan. And I look at this quite often. So if CT scan is one of the #1 search, then I will actually do a social post on CT scan. Okay. And then I can see how many people visited that website, how many calls they have. I can even tell them, you know, the people, you're very busy at 11 o'clock. So make sure there are people to man the phone during that time. Don't go for lunch or something. And they actually use all this data to plan their manpower. Okay. And I said, sometimes I have another one that says, okay, visit duration in that location is 45 minutes. So I said, okay, you are pretty good with your consulting. Do you want to make it 30 minutes or whatever? If so, then how do you think your processes would be like within the organization to put it down to 30 minutes instead of 45? So yes, you can build a site here. It's not a substitute, but because they have restrictions, I had to think of clever ways to go around it. So what I did was this website, and how I did the blogs was through Facebook. So I can show you blogs that I've done on Facebook. I'm not sure whether it's this page here. Because they do have a lot of pages. Facebook changed the layout, so it's a bit, let me go to my blue tea. I'm not sure whether you heard of Notes on Facebook. So Notes is something that you can, this is Notes, right? So Notes is something you can do as like a blog, right? So if you don't have a blogging platform, you can use Facebook to do it, all right? And it's exactly the same. You can have your pictures, your call to action, you know, hyperlinks and all that stuff in there. Okay, any questions? Any comments?
No specific comments in the chat group, but just on that, right? Given that there are so many different platforms, whether it's Google My Business, who lets you also create a website or web pages, and then we have Notes in Facebook. What would be your advice if a client or if someone already has a company website? Is there a need, do you think, for them to say replicate their blog across these platforms, or just focus on, if you already have a website and you have, you know, a Facebook business page, it's okay not to replicate it, focus SEO on the website? What do you advise?
It depends on a few things, right? Firstly is, where does your customer hang out?
Yeah.
If your customers are always on Facebook, it might be good to have a few things on Facebook, like Blue Tea. She has a lot of customers on Facebook. So there are key blogs that she put on Facebook. But don't forget that your real estate is still your website. So you have to drive people back to your website and nurture them from there. Sell from there, not Facebook. Because if Facebook suddenly something happens to Mark one day and he decides to sunset Facebook, then, you know, everyone is in trouble, right? So invest on your real estate rather than on any other social media platforms. That's my advice. Okay.
I just want to touch on the real estate, if that's okay. I think it's important to, first of all, keep the website updated.
Yeah.
I got a very bad experience from a client that says that our website was outdated, and therefore it's hard for my client to convince her boss that we should go with this consulting firm, because it doesn't show updated informations, and from a brand impression perspective, that is a minus marks. So that's one thing. And second, in terms of engaging, I think it's important to use less text and more visual, and that is another, I guess, it's part of the do's and don'ts for websites. And I think it's important to use graphics, images rather than words, because people nowadays, yes, they do browse websites and internets more, but people are less patient nowadays, and they don't spend too much time on whatever that you do. But more importantly, using, and that brings me to one of the example that I've told Veronica the other day, that I'm, because of my experience working and learning from her, and she really inspired me to use Wix.com as well. And we do a lot of newsletter because our audience are more on newsletter kind of people. So using the right technique to attract people to the real estate is important. That includes, first of all, if you're, I'm not sure if people here, you're sending newsletter out to your clients, but one of the most successful achievement that we have got from that was we got 40% of open rate from the newsletter that we sent out. Now, according to Wix.com, the industry average rate is 15% to 30%. So that's above the average. And second part is the click. So when people open up the newsletter, you want people to click on some of the links as well, which includes possibly link to your real estate, which is your website. With that one, we achieve 14%, 14%. Again, Wix.com's industry rate is 2.2 to 5%. So that's again above industry average. So I think that is a challenge and a goal that businesses should perhaps look into, how to improve your existing, if you obviously believe that that is the right communication tools to your client. Because as Veronica said, if your clients are more on Facebook, then that's the effort that you can focus on. But if it's a newsletter, emails, then focus on that.
Yeah, you're right, Thompson. So a lot of people say, oh, I need to reach 500 likes or 1,000 likes. And I tell them it's not important. Because, Facebook algorithms will only serve to, 2% of people who follow you. So follows are more important than likes. I can like something and unfollow them, right? And Thompson, you brought up a good point in, the balance of graphics and text. Now, a lot of people ask me, if I have a blog, how many characters or words should I have in there? And I would usually use an average of 1,500 words, okay? And supplement the rest with the images and the videos, and make sure you have your SEO all in place so that the blog can be found. But Thompson, what did you do differently to gain that 40% open rate?
Okay, so one of the kind of free things that we offer to people was to attend free webinars, because back then we do physical events. And again, turning crisis into opportunities. If you are similar to doing events kind of thing, then you can look into running free webinars. That's also another suppose freebies that you can give out to people. And when we promote that, we have a few things to promote in our newsletter, but we make sure that we use the free invitation events to be the drawing card. And I think subject title is very important when you're writing newsletter, when you're sending a newsletter. It shouldn't be too lengthy, and it should be something catchy. So a good example that we used was, I make sure that I put in the word invitation, because customers like to see invitation for some reason, because they feel privileged when they got invited to something, right? So that will increase the chances of people opening up, your email that you send. Because if you look at your inbox, your subject title comes up, and then the few words in your first sentence will also come up as well in your inbox, and that will decide or determine if you yourself as a user. So think of you yourself as somebody who's going to receive that newsletter. What sort of words that normally will prompt you more to open up the newsletter, and then put yourself in their position as well, and then you can relate them a little bit more. So I think word like invitations or free webinars or something, these are the words that will really prompt people to open up your thing.
Okay, and you mentioned about the websites being dated and it doesn't give a good impression on the client. So when it comes to branding, I think it's also important to think about how you want your website to look like, the colors, your brand image, the tone, the language you say, and stuff like that, right? So make sure it's all consistent throughout. But first impression does count, and we all know that in a physical, first time you meet somebody, you make sure you have a good impression, and it's the same with website, okay? Here is an example of a blog, and I just want to show it to you to make sure that you have a balance when it comes to a blog. So you see, when I hover my cursor over to the picture, it gives that alt text. The alt text automatically appear. It doesn't say, 123.jpg, even though that is the thing, but it actually has a background text, small business marketing, so that, and my company name, so that when somebody Google for small business marketing, my website will come up. Okay, so that's the first thing you do, have a balance of image and good image. And then you have the title, of course, and this title would have to be similar to what I call the slug here, the URL. So when people were to Google that, they see that it is similar. And then you have what they call a H1 tag. This is the header tag. So the header tag is important because it adds to the context of the blog, and it also helps with SEO, right? And then you have what they call the H2 tag, header 2 tag, right? And then the body text, okay? So again, you balance it with images and videos if you want. It should be about 1,005 characters. And you have what they call backlinks. Now, backlinks are links that you actually drive to another website. And Google loves this because they feel that you're supporting the community, okay? And it could be in link, which links to other parts of your website, or backlinks to link to outside websites, okay? And then lastly, you have a call to action. What do you want that customer to do next, right? Download another ebook or book a time, whatever. And then on the right-hand side, you see a little description about who you are, a subscribe form, right? And what else they can see within your blog, okay? Okay, any questions? Otherwise, I'll go on. So the next thing.
I just want to quickly add one on the point I mentioned earlier, Veronica, on yeah, when you send out newsletter to people, timing is also quite important. So if you know that which time people are most likely to open up or check their emails. Recently, I discovered that because many of our audiences are in Melbourne, and Melbourne's in lockdown, so I choose weekend to send out newsletter to them because, first of all, less competition, because normally people don't work on weekends. But people in Melbourne, because they are in lockdown, they can't go anywhere else. They're spending more time on their screen. So that works actually, because we have quite a huge chunk of people from Melbourne who actually open our newsletter when we send out on weekends. So that was an example. I think timing is also important.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in real quick to do a time check. It is 12.
Oh, it is. My God. Time flies. So can anyone else, do they want to stay on, or do they, want to, it's up to you. Can they add the text? If they want to stay on, I can show a little bit more.
A couple of people can stay. Jessica has to go. I would, yeah, I mean, we can go on. I would just, how many slides do we have?
I just want to talk quickly about the conversion and the selling, which is, of course, the best bits, right? You want to be able to sell, not just attract them into your website and do nothing, okay? Anyway, I'll just continue. The session is recorded. So the next step is to be able to convert them and bring them to, to the buying journey. And this is where you do remarketing or retargeting and all that stuff. So we talked about Google My Business just now. And that's one way you can do it. And then on online shop, I'll just show you quickly the online shop for my blue tea. And then you see there is a wish list, so you can add to wish list. You can share on social media for this particular product. You can also recommend a friend, give them discounts and all that stuff. And I talked about service companies where you can productize the service and then tag it onto your social media. What else can you do? When you have flyers or ebook or anything that you do, you can add on a QR code and people could scan it and go to that particular product or service description or blog or whatever, wherever you want to drive them. Thompson talked about emails. Sometimes emails, you can add video emails, which is very powerful. So instead of sending text, hi, how are you, and all that stuff, you actually do a video instead. The other way to do remarketing is to share all your social posts to groups and engage them to groups. You can hashtag, to the particular group, or use the @ sign and put onto that group. Reviews and recommendations. I showed you the reviews and all that stuff. And recommendations from other clients, right? So if you recommend me somebody, then you and your friend get a discount coupon or whatever, okay? And usually I will optimize all my social online channels before I invest on a paid ad. Now, why do you want to invest on a paid ad? Because you want that ad to follow you around. When you Google lawnmower, suddenly you see lots of ads about lawnmower. So that's how they follow you around, right? And then what else do you do? Let me go back to my slides. Okay, you build relationships, and this is all the repeatable tactics. Make sure you're consistent with that, right? Repeatable tactics would be like what Thompson talked about, emails, right? Newsletters, blogs, anything that you do often enough, but not to annoy them, right? So that's how you build relationships. And online messaging, I showed you little Mindy and all that stuff. And then you close the sale. So how do you close the sale? Sometimes you can give limited time. You can give special offers, and I talk about recommendations, the coupon codes for the friend, or anything like that. Or you can build apps to engage them and sell to them. But more importantly, make sure your website is complemented with a CRM at the back end, so you can track all the leads and follow through them as well. I think that's all I have. So what we have talked about today is a lot, but I want you to go back, fix your website, check on all your URLs, fix all your broken links, error pages, 301 directs, and all that stuff. I have, unfortunately, we have no time to show that, but what I can offer you is, if you think the session is good, then you can book a free 30-minute consultation, and let me stop sharing and give you the link for the consultation. And then, we can go through your website and see how we can, provide more structure to your website and help you with all that searchability. So this is a free consultation that I would be offering for people who attended the webinar today. Any questions? If no question, it means either too complicated or too easy.
Probably information overload at this point. And yes, as Rachel said, digesting. So I do find that the questions tend to come later.
Okay, so you've got the link for the free consultation, and you can book my time, and then I can go through your website and tell you, kind of go through what you can fix and all that stuff. That's it, I think.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. And I think because some of us, we don't have the videos. So yes, take note of the link that Vera has shared in the chat group. Take all the time you need to process everything that has been shared. I know that it's been quite a bit. Thanks, Veronica. And then, yeah, sign up with, book a time with Vera so that she can go through the website with you and identify the areas of improvement.
Thompson, anything else?
No, I think that's good. But I think the key point is, I think relationship is important at the end of the day. Online tools, we have to utilize it, because nowadays, because of the lockdown and, depending on the situation of your area, but you have to make the most out of it. So online too is certainly worth to invest, not just in terms of money. We're talking about time as well, because it does take time, but it's worth to invest. And if you are, just one point that when you were showing about images for the blog and website, I just wanted to say that in my experience, users like to see people's images, like human and things like that. So maybe that could be another angle as well, that if you're already considering choosing images or you haven't done so, if you want to update your images. But other than that, I think, it's worth to, this is the time really to really get things right online.
Yeah, this is the time to get things right. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.